Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Another Day, Another Album. It's a brand new day, y'all. Let's go see what the album machine says we're talking about today. Alright, so today we're talking about the final album of Mac Miller, Circles. From frat pop rapper to introspective and jazzy, Mac had changed very much from when he had started his rap career. His tragic death also unfortunately occurred right as he reached a peak in artistry, seeing through the potential of Swimming, the older of the sister albums, to be fully realized. I'll say I've only gotten into Mac's music in the last few months, so I can't speak to how this album compares to all of his older works, but even in the genres of singer-songwriter and abstract rap that this album exists in, this is an artistic peak within those genres. Circles sees the continuation of the jazzy and spacey sounds of Swimming, but built upon in a different direction, as Mac expands his vocal cords more than his bars on this album. The opener, Circles, is a great example of some of these softer sounds between the sister albums of Swimming and Circle, with an acoustic guitar soundtracking Mac's almost aged vocals, singing about the simple idea of going in circles. A short yet solid opener for the vulnerability of this album. Complicated gets a bit synth-funky with a side of amazing bass lines and some great vocal performances from Mac. His layered singing sounds smoky, almost like Mac is a bar piano man in an 80s sci-fi bar. Also has a catchy-ass chorus. Great stuff on here. Blue World has one of my favorite instrumentals, looping and phasing a barbershop quartet to the point that it sounds like a synth, and some great low-key bars from Mac, reminding us that he could still kill a verse with the best attitude of any rapper out. Good News is easily the biggest song from the album, and personally, my favorite. Leaning entirely into singer-songwriter territory, guitar plucks and a slow and a low-key drum line, soundtracking Mac's lyrics dealing with depression, and everyone around you expecting to only hear good news when you just don't have any. It's a very touching song that's very accurate to at least my experiences with depression, and I imagine many others, considering that this song has almost 400 million streams on Spotify alone. I Can See is a song that may be a little too low-key for its own good. While the instrumental can have some pretty moments, such as the glimmering bells, the vocal performance here doesn't quite feel as strong as previous tracks, and the ones that are to come. Everybody is an interesting change of pace for the album, starting like a minimalistic ballad of Mac on the piano, then turning into a Beatles-inspired band performance, with Mac really carrying that influence into his vocals. I could easily imagine John Lennon singing these lyrics on this instrumental. Get one of them AIs on it or something. Wood sees a further lean into an 80s synth sound, but tastefully mixed with a fast-paced acoustic guitar to create an absolute vibe. Mac's vocal performances mix very well with his bars on this one, and especially his flows in the verses. Hand Me Down is Mac's full proper ballad track, with some great instrumental performances and Mac's soulful lyrics, singing of the possibilities of what he can leave behind for the next generation. A hard-hitting sentiment considering his tragic passing. That's On Me hits that early Beatles style, but the song feels a bit repetitive and kind of just fades into the background for me every time I listen. Hands has an interesting sample that honestly gets a bit annoying by the time you're like a minute in. Mac's delivery is okay, but much more out there than other tracks on the album. This is just kind of a weird song. Surf starts like it's a quiet moment alone with Mac playing guitar, and then drums quietly join as Mac really shows the strength of his raw vocals. The fuzz guitar in the chorus is a particular favorite element of mine and really makes the most of its 5.5 minute runtime. Once a Day is a fittingly low-key closer for the album, with organ synth chords playing over Mac, giving a performance that would ultimately never complete. Because this track's short length and lack of development throughout that length, and the placement of the track, it's a fittingly somber closer for one of hip-hop's most beloved and most unique artists. I've got both my album deep dives written already, so maybe I'll talk about Circles when the day comes that I gotta make more. Circles by Mac Miller is an 8.5 out of 10 and currently sits at number 71 on the list. Be sure to let me know your favorite Mac track in the comments, and I'll see y'all for the next review. Pieces.